In today's episode, Christina and I are going to break down Dave Ramsey's video on why infinite banking is a scam. I think you're going to love it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Control and Compound with Darren Mitchell. With me today, Christina Wyatt, wealth coach at Control and Compound Financial. Christina, we're in the studio today.
Yeah, super excited to be here, Darren, and to do this episode. I think it's going to be a great one. Before we get started, though, I do want to remind our listeners to, if you're listening to your favorite podcast out there, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like, hit that bell button so that you don't miss out on content, and remember to subscribe.
Okay, Christina, we've had lots of people ask about this. We get asked about Dave Ramsey. For those of you who don't know, Dave Ramsey is an American-based financial entertainer. He runs a very successful business. Now, there's a lot of people that love Dave Ramsey, and there's a lot of people in my industry not a big fan of Dave Ramsey, and I think hate might not be a too strong a word, but I think Dave Ramsey is great for a lot of things. Dave Ramsey, I respect him. He's obviously a successful business owner. He's worth $200 million plus. He has a charitable foundation. But don't kid yourself. He didn't make that money earning that magical 12% mutual fund that he used to run there for years. He earned that money by investing in his business, investing back in himself and his business. So great guy. I think he's great for 60, 70% of, maybe 80% of the population, but it really doesn't fit for the other 20, 25%. So we're going to go through the video today. Christina, what do you have to say? Are you excited about this one?
I'm super excited for this video, and I feel the same way, Darren, right? Like, there's definitely mixed reviews out there on him. I definitely think that there's a place for the things that he teaches people to get their finances in control and all of those things. It's great, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's the expert that you want to be talking to on infinite banking, and going through this is kind of going to highlight that for everybody.
Yeah, Christina, I am not an expert on ballet dancing, so I don't try to tell people how to be ballet dancers. And when it comes to infinite banking, I don't think Dave Ramsey's an expert. But let's watch the video and see what our reaction is.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, I had a question for you. I've been working with a financial advisor who's given me some advice, and I follow the show. I'm on baby step 7 currently. But he presented me with an idea that was a little outside the box. And I have term life insurance. I've been anti-whole life. But he presented me with this infinite banking concept.
Jesus, you're kidding me.
Money. Yeah, I have excess money in a savings account and looking to rebalance my portfolio to get it to work a little bit harder.
Wow.
But my risk tolerance is a little bit low. And he showed me how you can do this where you overfund the whole life policy. Yeah. You can access the money. You break even in year 7, and then the dividend outruns what you put into it.
Yeah, it
doesn't seem like a terrible idea in that regard, but I just wanted your take on why that might not be the best way to go.
Well, Christina, clearly Dave has an open mind, and he's willing to listen. Kills me. Jesus, you're killing me is his line. Before he knows anything about the client, what the client's going to do, what's his background. He says he's sitting in cash, which is just losing money with inflation these days. Again, instant reaction before he knows anything about this person. What does he invest in? What's his goals? What's he's trying to accomplish? So right away, my back's up a little bit, but I'm okay so far. Christina, what was your take?
Well, with Dave, you can tell that he's kind of already made up his mind on the insurance. He hasn't heard much about the client. He's definitely, his body language and his wording definitely says that he's not interested in hearing it out. One other thing that I picked up on is that the caller says that he's looking to rebalance his portfolio and he's low risk tolerance. So when people are saying those types of things, it's more talking about investing in the stock market, right? That's not what infinite banking is. Infinite banking is a saving strategy, and he kind of jumps to the two different things here, right? So lumping it into one when it comes to your investment portfolio, not the same thing. So we got to kind of split the two.
Yeah, you want to invest. We believe you should invest in yourself, a business, and real estate to make the highest rate of return. This is a savings vehicle on steroids. But Dave's, great point, Christina. Dave's putting it in the same category.
Yeah, he's
as
lumping it,
stock
right?
market.
Yeah, he's putting it in the stock market, which is 100% what we never do. It's not the same thing, even a little bit.
All right, let's get the next clip.
Problem is that where it gets confusing is that God, he's selling a dividend. A financial advisor? This is an insurance guy.
Well, he's both. They have, it's one of the bigger companies.
Like Northwestern Mutual or Prudential.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. He's an insurance guy. He's not a financial advisor.
Okay, I was about to say.
So, because those are both mutual companies. Now, there are two types of life insurance companies: mutual and stock. Okay. Likely you bought your term, unless you bought it from him, from a stock company. A stock company, stockholders own the insurance company. A mutual company, which is Pru and Northwestern, State Farm is mutual, is the policy holders are actually the stockholders. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
So when the company makes a profit, the policy holders receive a dividend, as if they were a stockholder and received a dividend. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, follow the math here. If you are the owner of the company and you're also the customer of the company, and the only place the company gets money is from the customers that are owners, and they give you money from a profit, by definition, that means it's because they took too much from you as a customer. There wouldn't have been a profit otherwise.
Okay.
So the IRS has deemed, consequently, that mutual life insurance company dividends are not dividends in the true sense of a dividend, that instead they are, and this is the IRS's language, they are instead a refund of a deliberate overcharge. So they overcharge you in order to give you some money later to make you feel like you're making money off of them. And it's absolute hogwash. It's a pass-through. Mathematically, it's a pass-through. It's the way it has to be. It's the legal definition of the freaking company, and the IRS says so.
Okay, so Dave there has some stuff he's accurate on. The mutual companies and the stock companies work differently. On the mutual company, the profits go back to the policyholders, the whole life policyholders. That's the U.S. Canada, we've got the same thing. We've also got a hybrid. We've got a lot of participating whole life that operates very similar to a mutual company. But factually, Prudential is no longer a mutual company. They changed in 1950 or 1950 something. And I think, to be honest, that's where Dave gets a lot of his insurance views, is from a policy sold in the 1950s. And we'll talk more about that. So that's one part. And then the other part was about a return of premium is tax-free. So you're complaining that you don't have to pay tax on a return. I don't know, Christina, that looks like a positive to me, and then we'll get into returns. What was your initial take?
So a couple things that caught my attention during this section. The one with the stock companies versus mutual companies. Just to bring it back to Canada, we are in Canada. So, we have stocks and mutual companies as well, but we also have that hybrid participating whole life, and we can get into that in a different section. So yes, absolutely right there. One thing that got me big time was you are the owner and you're also the customer. So how can you possibly make a return? This guy mentions earlier that at year 7, he breaks even and starts making returns. So the logic 100% isn't there. And we know that insurance companies make lots of returns. There's people everywhere invested in them, right, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, you look around downtown, any city, and chances are the who owns the building next door to you, or who owns the building next door to us today?
It's going to be an insurance company. I'm literally looking at one right now out the window where we're recording. So yeah, insurance companies, they make profits in lots of other places. It's just not making them off these policy holders. They are big. They're on the stock exchange, for gosh sakes. Like, there's insurance companies everywhere making profits. The wealthy invest there. Corporations invest there. Everybody. It just doesn't make sense. And his caller actually proves the logic that it doesn't make sense when he says that he breaks even at year 7 and starts earning return. It's not possible you didn't make a return if that happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, we look at all our policies, and at the end of the day, for what you put in, you're going to receive many more times that back. So if we look at, we were working on one today for a 35-year-old, and I think it was $20,000 a year for like 20 years. Well, the death benefit grew to like $4 million, and the cash value grew to $3.5 million. So how the heck are they getting these returns if it's just a return of their own premium? No, because the money goes in, it gets invested, billions of dollars, 20, 40, 60, 80 billion, some of these funds. They buy all these office buildings, they invest some in the stock market, some in real estate, some in mortgages, private lending, all that. They earn a return like they have for 150 years without ever missing 1 year, and that goes back to grow your cash value and grow your death benefit. But to complain that, well, yes, you get more money back, but it's not taxable. Again, think of that as a positive, and it really works like a mutual fund that Dave's so excited about. Money goes in your mutual fund, you invest it, you hope there's some growth. What you get back is your money plus growth. Same idea here, except tax-free.
Yeah, he calls it a dividend. It's not a real dividend. It's a deliberate refund of an overcharge. Now, to me, that sounds like a tax refund myself. That's what that is. That's definitely not what's happening here, right? You're going to be able to, you're making those returns as well, long term, right? So yeah, no, I think Dave's completely wrong on this one when it comes to, not making those returns, just getting the refund. It's not possible by when we look at these policies and how they're designed. Overfunded, which caller also, says at the beginning, it's an overfunded policy. So the guy he's talking to is setting this up correctly from the sounds of it, and it's going to create those returns for him. Another point is he says that he's a very conservative investor. Insurance companies invest conservatively. That's what they do. So it's almost aligning with what he's looking for from my point of view. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally go back to 1846 in Canada and identify an insurance company that has had a whole life plan that has paid a dividend every single year since 1846. That's as old as Canada. So, the idea is that they're a horrible spot place to park your money. And I don't give a crap what you call it, Christine. If it comes back to me tax-free, as long as it comes back to me tax-free, you can call it a dividend, you can call it a turn of premium, you can call it anything you want. I just don't like paying tax. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's see the next one.
The thing I didn't love is, when you take the money back, you basically are paying an interest rate on it. But
Exactly. And whose money is this?
Right.
That you're borrowing your own money and you're paying them interest?
Yep.
This is
So they say
infinite
the
banking for
discount
them.
pays that. Yeah.
Yeah, the infinite banking
Yeah.
concept is old school, whole life, done poorly. You need a real financial advisor, not an insurance broker that's trying to sell you a load of manure. And so, yeah, the other thing is that your cash values that are sitting there all die with you. So whatever cash you put into this is equals zero at your death because they only pay the face value. Pru does not have a policy. Northwestern Mutual does not have a policy that pays more than the face value except Universal Life Bs, which are not in infinite banking products. And Universal Product B is where they charge more than they usually charge, which basically buys the insurance so they can still keep your money, is the way the math actually works on this.
Well, Dave, you're just wrong here again several times. First of all, pay interest to borrow your own money. We hear that all the time. Why would I pay interest to borrow my own money? Well, you're not borrowing your own money. If you have $100,000 in your cash value policy and you borrow $90,000, how much do you have in your policy that's going to continue to grow, Christina?
$100,000.
So you have $100,000 that stays in your policy. You borrowed 90. If you were borrowing your own money, you would only have 10,000 in there. You're not borrowing your money. He doesn't get into what type of loan it is. It is a business owner real estate investor's dream loan, unstructured loan, pay it back when, how, and if you want, uncallable, interest is tax deductible. I mean, it's an ideal loan. Doesn't get into any of that. So that's the first one, Christina. You don't pay interest on your own money. Your money stays in the policy. You're borrowing from the insurance company. No questions asked. Not going to show up in your credit report. Not going to affect your borrowing capacity. It is a magical loan.
Yeah, it's how we create the and asset, right? That's what we say all the time. You going back to your point, you've got 100,000 growing in the policy, and you have 90,000 outside. Well, your 100,000 is now 190,000 making a return for you. That's multiplying dollars, right? That's why the wealthy get rich off this all the time, because they're borrowing somebody else's money. How many times have you heard, use somebody else's money if you can? That's how we do it in the real estate world, right? So
OPM. So yeah,
Yeah.
your money's in the policy growing. Your money's in the real estate or the expense or the opportunity that you borrowed the 90 grand for, and it's providing a benefit, or death benefit. So we're multiplying money with literally the perfect type of loan. Okay, and the next one, Christina, cash value dies with you. Again, I think Dave's his experience or his knowledge of this is from the 1950s. Yeah, there were policies, something like that in the 50s and 60s. I've never sold one of those. I haven't seen one of those other than, some client will come in and have an old policy. So that's just not accurate at all. The cash value gets paid out as a death benefit when you die. The cash value pays, the life insurance pays, and then you get a total death benefit. So some people will look at the total death benefit and say, oh, I lose my cash value. No, the total death benefit represents cash value plus the life insurance on the plan. It all gets paid out. It all gets out paid tax-free. So he's just flat out wrong there.
Thanks for listening so far. If you like what you hear, make sure that you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave that 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you always know when new content's coming out. Well, yeah, for these policies to be structured properly, we need to choose the dividend option of paid up additions. Paid up additions is literally increasing your death benefit. That is what you're doing. You're purchasing more death benefit with some of those dividends. It's just how it's structured, how it works to grow these properly for an infinite banking policy. So 100% that is incorrect. You're going to have that death benefit continuing to grow through those paid up additions and the combination of the cash value. Yeah, we get to use our cash value while we're living. This is the only type of policy out there that we can use our death benefit while we're still living, which I think is a bonus in my mind that we have those, that we have the ability to do that, right? So, and again, he's talking about Prudential here, which is a U.S. company. I don't know much about Prudential, to be honest, but the 4 companies that we use here in Canada to implement these strategies, the 4 products that we use, between me and you, Darren, we have a product with all of them. You have product with all of them. I have 3 out of the 4. And there's not one policy that I own that has a death benefit that is the same as the day I bought it. They're all much larger. How about yours, Darren? Yeah. Are yours all bigger too?
Same here. And I don't have one policy where the cash value dies with me, and none of our clients have policies like that they purchase from us. So again, just flat out wrong. And then the other one, okay, this got my blood boiling a little bit. Not a real financial planner. Now, what do you mean by that, Dave? Because I have an economics degree. I have a master's of business administration. I have a certified financial planner. Christina's a certified financial planner. What do you need to be a real financial planner? Because back in my mutual fund days, I'll tell you the mutual fund, real financial advisor. You go to the mutual fund company and you hear a spin on why that product's the best, and you take that spin and you go sell that spin to the prospective client, and you get them to sign up for that mutual fund. That's not real financial planning. Dave identified exactly what this guy should do in the first 20 seconds of the conversation. Right away, no, this is bad. Didn't investigate, didn't get the background. So again, he's just flat out wrong here, I believe, and it just, it offends me. I don't care what the person's category you want to lock them in. If they come in with a solution to your problem or an enhancement to your situation, why wouldn't you listen to them with their knowledge and experts on that topic?
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was a little irritating to hear him continuously compare, an insurance advisor to someone that might be speaking to you about infinite banking. I've spent a lot of time, a lot of years obtaining these designations, investing in myself, my education to make sure that I can specialize in these things, as have you, so that we can help our clients with it. And for him to say that that's an insurance advisor, it just doesn't make any sense. How is he qualifying this, right? Like, how is he deciding who is qualified to be helping people with these things? Like I said, I spend a lot of time doing education. I have never taken a designation, a course in anything when it comes to financial planning that life insurance was not discussed. Like, it is estate planning. It is what we do. Like, this is, I've never. So I don't think he's ever taken a course when it comes to financial planning. And again, Dave, you're a great guy, but there's no way you've taken a course, because if you did, you would have had to learn the ins and outs of life insurance and using it properly in a overall financial plan for a client. It's just, it's part of it. I wouldn't have passed the course, guys. Wouldn't have passed it.
You couldn't be a certified financial planner
couldn't be,
if you didn't learn something about insurance for that
Exactly.
course. And yeah, now in fairness to Dave, I will say, I mean, the amount of advisors out there compared to the amount of advisors that are experts on infinite banking, there's literally, a small fraction of financial advisors or insurance agents or financial or mutual fund agents or whatever you want to call them. So, deal with an expert, because you can get crap policies if you deal with someone that doesn't deal in this every day. So, but to blanket every policy, like lose your cash value and death benefit doesn't go up. I mean, just flat out wrong, I think, in all three of those points there we raised. So let's see the next one, see if it gets better.
The whole thing of the dividends or paying for it is such a joke, because the dividends are the refund of a deliberate overcharge. So who's paying for it? If you were getting dividends if you owned Home Depot stock and you got dividends from that, then Home Depot's making a profit, but they're making a profit off of their customers.
Yes.
And I'm the owner of the investment. I get that dividend. That's different than if I am the customer and I'm the stockholder, thereby the only way I made a profit was off of me.
Myself.
So I pay you an extra $100 and then you give me 70 of it, and I'm supposed to feel great about that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what this amounts to. And so you guys working with State Farm, when you get your little dividend check, that's what it is. It's the refund of a deliberate overcharge. IRS verbatim says that.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't get taxed on it. If you get a dividend on Home Depot stock, you get taxed on it as income, because it's real income. You really made an investment, and then you really made an income. So that's what's going on with that stuff. And so do not buy anything in the life insurance world based on dividends.
Okay, Christina, Dave continues to just spread falsehoods here that the only way you make money is a return of your own premium. You put in 100 and you get back 70. Again, zero policies properly structured in infinite banking work like that, 0.0%. So he's 100% wrong there. Christina, we talked about it before, but insurance companies invest in some stuff. They've buildings all over the place. You can look at their annual reports and see how they invest their 14, 20, 60, 80 billion dollars these funds were using. Just blows my mind. He says it with confidence, though. I'll give him that. He says confidently the complete inaccurate, false information.
Yeah, absolutely, Darren. One other point that he makes in this that really blows my mind, actually, is he says that a Home Depot dividend check is real income. That's why you're taxed on it. Why does it sound like a good thing to him that you're taxed on income? Like the majority of the time, I'm spending finding ways to try to not have taxable income at the end of the day, as do many people that we work with every day, right? So the fact that he's saying you need real income equals taxable income, 100% incorrect. And when he talks about it, going back to the financial planning side of things, where he says, the financial planner, these are insurance advisors. Well, no, tax planning is part of an overall good financial plan. That's the problem. There's focus on these rates of returns that Dave says you need to get these rates of return, and not focusing on the other things that really disrupt your wealth, right? Our wealth destroyers, our taxes, our fees, our volatility, and our spending. That's what we need to focus on. And Dave's just, I don't know about this one. It's
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd want to pay tax if you didn't have to pay tax. Like, that's just absolutely crazy to me. But I actually, through different things, I own some shares in Home Depot. I also am a customer of Home Depot. So does that mean all I'm getting from Home Depot, my stock, is a return of my own money? Oh, no, wait, do they have a few other customers other than me? Is there other ways they make money? Like, it's ludicrous. What, if you're a customer and a shareholder, you just get a return of your own premium? Like, it, again, just factually inaccurate. Let's see if it gets any better, this next one.
You look at the price, look at the structure of the policy, and you'll usually find that mutual companies, by the way, are the higher priced.
Yeah.
So when you go to a quote service, like a Zander Insurance, and you get quoted on term life insurance, you're going to find no mutual companies in the 42 different companies that they give you a quote from, because they're not competitive.
That's it.
Why? Because they charge more so they can give some of it to you back later and make you feel like that you got something. That's really what it amounts to. And that's why you won't find them. They're not competitive.
All right, Christina. Now he's literally giving wrong information, and he's advising people to do something that absolutely doesn't make sense. First of all, term insurance, the mutual companies that we deal with, they're all going to be super competitive in term. Right now, he got into term. The caller didn't ask about term, but whatever. So he dug into term. If you look at the quoting services that we use, those big four companies we use, they're going to be in the top 10. They might be 1, 2, and 4, or 2, 3, and 5. So they're very, very, very competitively priced. And the second thing, again, not being, you want to talk about real financial planning, Dave? I mean, what's your plan for that person down the road if they're no longer insurable? What's your plan for that person if they want to renew the mortgage and renew their life insurance and they can't qualify for the insurance? He didn't get into convertibility, which is a huge thing for term insurance. If I was buying term insurance today, and let's pretend one of the four companies we deal with didn't have the cheapest term, and let's pretend it was some company that wasn't a company that offered a participating whole life plan, and I saved a nickel or saved 50 cents a month. If I did that, and then 5 or 10 years down the road, I was no longer insurable, I couldn't convert to a whole life plan. I couldn't convert to a cash value life plan. Maybe I couldn't convert to a permanent plan. But if I bought it with a company that has conversion options, I have all those features, really for no more cost. What are you talking? Worst case scenario, an extra 50 cents a month. When they say that mortgage renews in 10 years, you can no longer get that mortgage because you don't qualify for the life insurance. Like, absolutely bad, horrible advice here. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, bad advice. And okay, so he's saying here that higher price equals bad product. So you get a worse product the higher that you pay. I don't know anything out there that's like that. And I am going to give a real example right here. I can't imagine that Dave buys the cheaper toilet paper at the store. You just wouldn't, right? Like because the higher priced toilet paper, that's going to be worse. I don't think so, guys. I really don't think so. That's not how the world works. You're going to get, you might pay a little bit more, but you're going to get all those features. Like you said, the convertibility, and really the price is not that much in the difference. When we look at these quoting softwares that he is referencing, we're talking like dollars, quarters. Like, we're not talking a lot in the difference here to be able to put yourself in a place that you can be successful long term.
Yeah, just penny conscious, pound foolish. There, just wrong. All right, let's see where he goes next.
The only thing that agent has for his whole life is a need for your commission to be paid to him.
Absolutely.
That's the only whole life thing that is involved here.
Okay, I figured he'd go there eventually. Dave Ramsey went, one of the other things people like to throw at you on top of you lose your cash value. Oh, it's a high commission thing. And that's just, again, completely inaccurate. You know what? There's a lot of insurance products out there that are higher commission. This is not one of them. I mean, if you're dealing with an advisor that's not an expert and doesn't set it up properly, yeah, they can set it up so there's a higher commission. But a properly structured infinite banking policy or high cash value policy is effectively a commission reduction for the advisor, 50 to 70%, and the client ends up with way more cash. Now, the problem is most advisors don't set them up that way. But when you deal with someone that does, you're getting a far superior product. They're getting paid way less. And I got to tell you, as a certified financial planner and a former mutual fund guy, the 1% trailer fee your advisor's getting paid works out to a lot more compensation over the long run. So Dave's so big on the mutual funds where there's a 1% trail for the advisor. That's a much higher commission over a 20-year period than anything a properly structured infinite banking policy is going to pay. So again, just mudslinging here, but just inaccurate again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Darren. The fees are one of the things we talk about a lot. We want to reduce fees for our clients. They're one of those wealth destroyers. So we don't like fees. We don't want our clients to have fees. And in looking at the comparisons, if we ran them out, 1% over my lifetime versus an upfront commission, I'm going to take that upfront commission all day. And really, when you're working with a financial planner, they're going to talk about the commissions and how they get paid with you as well, which is important when it comes down to transparency. And, a good financial planner is going to do that with you, and you're going to completely understand. And you should also be understanding how much you're paying on those mutual funds too at the end of the day, though. Really, you want to take the time to look at both and plan effectively for them.
Yeah. So I mean, just again, completely inaccurate, unless you're dealing with someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. But if we sum up here, like, Dave, think about this. Like, so many wealthy people use this strategy. We've got 50% of U.S. senators have a whole life policy. We've got many Canadian politicians, senior executive. We got Ted Rogers that relied on loans left and right to grow Rogers. We got Ray Kroc that built Disney on it. I mean, we've got Arnie Patterson, a huge fan. Like, we could go across the table of millionaires and billionaires that believe this is an incredible strategy. If we look at the banks themselves, okay, the banks themselves in the U.S., you look at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, some of these companies have $20 billion of cash value life insurance. And then the Canadian firms operating in the States, RBC and BMO, again, a few billion dollars putting cash value life insurance. Now, do you really think the banks are stupid? Do you really think wealthy people are stupid? Do you really think literally billions of dollars go into this year, billions of dollars are into this? It's just absolutely just hogwash what Dave talks about on this. This is an effective strategy for a portion of the population. And again, I will concede to Dave that for a lot of people that get pushed this topic, it may not be right for them. Like, we believe this isn't right for somebody that is not able to save money. If you're saving $100 a month, we don't think you're ready. I mean, you're probably looking at least $500 a month, maybe even $10,000 a year, or $500 a month at least, for this to make sense. So if someone came to us and says, "Hey, I want to start a policy for $100 a month," well, no. Maybe you can go to Dave's couple baby steps and learn how to manage your money better and get out of debt. Dave's good at that. But once you start saving, we did a whole podcast on the ideal place, characteristics of the ideal place to save money. And we had all kinds of resources on billions of people or billions of dollars into this. Tons of people are doing it. Wealthy people are doing it. And the idea that we wouldn't do something because, it comes back tax-free, but it's called a return of premium or it's called something. Again, the wealthier people I deal with are the easiest people to deal with because they come in and go, "We don't give a crap what you call it. If it does this, 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 and this, including gross tax-free, access tax-free, die tax-free, allows me to do this, provides creditor protection, all that, sign me up." So anyway, that's my wrap up. Anything to add, Christina?
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing, Darren. We couldn't cover everything on the infinite banking strategy today. Obviously, there's a lot of information to consume, but you have done a very great job in putting two great resources out there for our listeners. You've got Be the Bank, you've got Infinite Banking for Real Estate Investors available on Amazon and Audible. If you want to learn more, this is an amazing place to start. So get out there and order your copy.
All right, so that's our reaction to Dave Ramsey. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out our website at Control and Compound. Take care.